The purpose of this webinar, there's already been a couple of webinars by two other excellent presenters on the basics of the AHA Halo. So the purpose of this webinar is going beyond basics and getting the most out of your device. And if you haven't got one already, I strongly suggest that you do get one. It's just a marvelous little device. Now, if you can all see my screen, and I'm just going to double check that we are sharing the presentation. Looks like we are. Here we go. So I've included links to both Bradley and Jorg's presentations that they've done previously. So if you saw Bradley's presentation last month, he went through how to set up your Halo and connect it to the software. He went through the working theory. He did an overview of the programs. He showed how to use the Harmony cards, and he showed how to update the AHA Halo. And he had some fabulous tips and stories of his personal use in that webinar as well. And if you do want to go back and check some of the more basic instructions with AHA Halo, this is the link to Vimeo where his webinar was. And of course, you can watch that for free. Now, if you missed Jorg's webinar, his was a slightly different take on AHA Halo because he's a different person and he has different expertise. So although he covered setting up the Halo and connecting to software, he focused a lot on how energy medicine works holistically with your body. And he had a wonderful, wonderful slide in his presentation about the emotional root cause of some physical problems. So if that is something that you would like to take a look at, I do suggest that you go back and watch his webinar as well. And this is the link to his webinar at the bottom. Okay. Now, what we are going to look at today, I am going to go over some of the basics very quickly, showing you how to use your Halo. But then I want to show you the AHA Halo website and what's on the actual website and what resources you can actually access there. I want to go through the program descriptions in a bit more detail. And I want to show you some features in the software itself once you've actually connected your Halo to the computer. And of course, I want to tell you about some absolutely phenomenal success I've had using the Halo with various dogs and on people too. It is for people as well. And then I want to look at some of the hot topics from the forum, and then we'll do the Q&A. So let's start with, how do you use your AHA Halo? It really is very, very simple. So when you get your AHA Halo, it comes with a cable that will connect it to the computer, and this cable is not just for charging, it's also for downloading the software, and so that the software can read what's on the Halo and the Halo can communicate back with the software. So it's a communication cable, not just a charging cable. So if you try to use a cable that looks similar, you may find you've got a charging cable only, okay? Please use the cable that came with your AHA Halo. So when you want to use this, you turn your Halo off and connect it to the computer via this cable. Mine is already connected. And then you long press this button on the right to turn it on. And when it's turned on, you will see that the screen lights up and you can access the programs that you've already downloaded. If you haven't downloaded anything at all, it comes preset with 3 programs for you. But you can add or remove programs however you like. So the next thing you do is you open the software on your computer, you choose the programs that you want, or you can choose the quick pack and download 19 very useful programs in one click. And then you can scroll up and down with these up and down buttons to find various programs, and you short press the right button to start them running. Okay, put the Halo within a meter of yourself or pop it in your pocket, or if you've got the crossbody bag, that's actually very handy as well, and you can actually wear it and take it out and about. I sometimes put this on the dog's crate at night if I'm using this for the dog, because the dog is going to be confined in their crate. I just pop this on top. It's not going to get chewed, it's not going to get weed on, and the dog gets all the healing benefits of the scalar energy. And that is literally how you use your AHA Halo. Now, let's take a look at the website to start with. So before we actually start looking at the software, I just want to show you what's on the website that you might have missed. So this is the website address at the top here. And I've cheated this morning. What I've actually done is I've already opened up the tabs on another screen. So I'm just going to share these open tabs and show you what's there. Okay. So let's go to this one. Now, okay, so here we are on the website, and you can scroll across these headings at the top and it will show you various bits and pieces that are on the website. Okay, so if you wanted to get the crossbody bag that I was talking about, you can come down here and look under merchandise, but we'll skip that bit for now. Okay, under the programs tab, this is where you find your software download and your program descriptions. So if I go to the software download tab here, okay, downloading the software is really easy. It's one click. You click on this and it will set everything up for you, and then you can just connect your Halo, and it really is that simple. Away you go. If we look under support, we've got a frequently asked questions tab and a community tab. Now, I don't tend to use these frequently asked questions that often. I actually go to the forum and I look at the hot topics there. But here under resources, there's an absolutely excellent blog. And if you haven't looked at the blog on this site, I suggest that you do. We'll be showing a page from the blog later in the presentation today. And of course, here's the user guide here. So there's all these wonderful parts on the website that I really hope that you do take a look at. Now, if we go to the program descriptions, okay, it opens up a PDF for you, and these are updated regularly. So the programs are arranged under different categories. So we've got comfort, sleep, beauty, cleansing, holistic body care, physical well-being, spiritual well-being, women's care, men's care, emotional well-being, and energy pathways. There's a lot of programs there. And sometimes the program name doesn't really give you enough detail about what the program is about. So if you are not sure, you can come to the website, you can access this program description, and this will tell you a wee bit more about the different types of programs. Now, I'm just going to switch back to the presentation here, and I want to show you this guide in detail. So, the effectiveness and duration of programs may vary among individuals depending on your physiological state, your lifestyle habits, and baseline health conditions. For acute symptoms, it's recommended to use the AHA Halo continuously during the day until improvement is felt. Now, I've actually done that with a little dog called Millie, who I'll be talking about later in the presentation, and it worked very, very well. For chronic conditions, long-term and consistent use is often necessary. And this is what I do with the older dog that I have here, Bindy. So she's 12 and she suffers from, arthritis. She was neglected and on the streets for probably a number of years, I would be guessing. And so she's the one that I pop in her crate, and I pop this on top of her crate at nighttime. If she's around in the day, and she actually is at the moment, she's actually under my desk and at my feet right now. And she seems to know where I've got this device, and she will actively seek out and try and position herself close to it, which I think is very smart. So the time and complexity of health issue will influence the recovery process. In all cases, it is advised to complete multiple full treatment cycles to consolidate the results, okay? So very rarely do I run a program once and just stop, but mainly that's because I'm using it with the dogs, either for something acute, which has just happened, or because the dogs are older and it is a chronic condition. Now, except for the sleep-related programs, the AHA Halo team actually recommend that you turn the device off at night when running other programs so that you've got time to let the body restore its natural functions. Okay, the ultimate goal is to empower your body's innate ability to heal. Okay, as the Bible says, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So if you sort of get out of your body's way and take away the things that are holding your health back and give the body what it needs, your body will heal itself very, very well from all kinds of things. So the aim with AHA Halo, as they put in their guide here, is that one day they hope that you'll no longer need external support because true wellness comes from within. Now, all of the wellness programs, such as the holistic body care programs, require consistent long-term use combined with a healthy lifestyle that includes balanced diet, moderate exercise, and good sleep habits. Okay, if, for example, if you've got a leak on the floor and you spend all your time mopping up the water that's come onto the floor, you will spend a lifetime mopping if you don't turn off the tap. Okay, so using the AHA Halo, as wonderful as it is, if you think that you can eat pizza and drink beer and not exercise and not go out in the sunshine and not get your vitamin D, if you're doing all of these things that are detrimental to your health, you're going to be tied to your halo, and it's not really in your best interests. The idea is that this is a health tool, but we should be living healthy lifestyles as well, and that does include and these are from their own guide. It says diet, increase your whole grains, dark leafy vegetables, reduce your refined sugars and trans fats, and they suggest reducing the meat consumption. Now, that's from the guide. There are other philosophies around what a healthy diet is. I would suggest that if you are going to eat meat, that you make sure that it's grass-fed. You try and get organic if possible. Try and make sure that your meat is antibiotic-free. There's a whole lot of considerations around what you are going to eat. But if you're eating fruit and veggies, Google for the clean 15 and the dirty dozen in your country to see which ones are sprayed with pesticides, which ones you really need to buy organic, and which ones you might be able to buy non-organic and wash sprays off. I mean, if you can buy everything organic, obviously that is the ideal. If you can grow your own, even better. Exercise, okay? It is recommended to engage in moderate activities such as brisk walking or swimming on a weekly basis. Now, I would actually go further than that, and I would say on a daily basis, you should be doing something, okay? Preferably, if the sun is out, get out there in the sunshine, exposed skin to get the vitamin D. Now, I'm not suggesting you go out at 12 noon if the UV index is really high and bake yourself to a crisp, but it is really good to get out there and move the lymph by walking. You might see sort of in the back corner of my room, I've actually got a rebounder over there. And when it's a nice day, I will actually wheel that out and set it up outside or set it up in the lounge. And then I have to try and stop the dogs rebounding with me because they actually love to climb on the rebounder and they'll get between my feet and enjoy bouncing up and down. It doesn't really matter what activity you choose, but you should be trying to do something every day to get a little bit of exercise, because of course it's going to encourage you to breathe a little deeper, get oxygen through your system. You're going to get the benefits from sunshine, which is it's not just the vitamin D that we get from sunshine. There are other benefits as well. If you can find a space outside where you can take off your shoes and walk barefoot on the grass, that's fantastic too for grounding. Otherwise, if you can invest in a pair of grounding shoes while you're out getting that exercise, that's good too. Now, recovery. It is suggested to aim for 7 to 8 hours of high quality sleep each night and avoid blue light exposure before bedtime. Now, there's lots of things you can incorporate there. I actually have blue light glasses. Some of them are clear, some of them are yellow, and some of them are orange. I have lights in the house that have reduced blue light. The screens on the monitors that I'm looking at now while I'm talking to you, they have a reduced blue light setting. You can turn off or reduce the blue light on your phone if you're going to use that, and try not to use your phone in the couple of hours right before you're going to bed. Other things you can do to try and help your sleep, having 50 to 100 mils of tart cherry juice about an hour before bed can help you sleep. But also, AHA Halo has got several sleep programs on it that we'll look at in a moment's time. They can help you get a good night's sleep as well. All right, now these are the guidelines as we look at each category of program that they suggest you should be doing at the same time. So when we look at the comfort programs, to enhance your experience, try to minimize physical strain, Avoid prolonged sitting and heavy lifting while using these programs. Okay, when we look at the beauty programs, you want to pair these with a simple skincare routine. They suggest adding antioxidant care, gently massaging your scalp while avoiding harsh styling. Now, in the guide, there's one part that I've actually taken out. They have a suggestion to use an SPF 30 plus sunscreen while you're using the beauty programs. Now, that doesn't really fit with me. I'm not keen on putting chemicals on the body, but I do actually have a little sunscreen here, which I bought for my dog, and you can eat this. So there are some sunscreens that you can buy, which are completely edible and therefore non-toxic. If it's safe enough to eat, it's safe enough to put on your skin, in my opinion. And I certainly wouldn't be putting anything on my dog's nose that he might lick off that would be dangerous for him. So if you do want to use a sunscreen, please make the effort to look for one that's very natural, very gentle. They still work, you just need to apply them more often, but they do exist. The cleansing support programs. Now, when we're cleansing and detoxing, we need to get the debris out. So you need to reduce your exposure to environmental toxins. So try and stay away from things that have got plastics, heavy metals. So on that note, the clothing that I wear is either wool, linen, or cotton. I really don't wear much else. The bed sheets that I use are organic cotton. I mean, if you're going to be laying in bed all this time at night, you know, linen or cotton, no heavy dyes, try and get the cleanest you can. You know, if your head's going to be on the pillowcase, try and make it the best quality pillowcase you can find. Okay, so try and avoid the polyesters and the things that actually have plastics in them. I also try and keep my house clean using natural cleaners. So most of the time when I'm polishing the furniture, it's polished with a combination of vinegar and oil, sometimes a few drops of an essential oil, provided it's safe for the dogs. If I really need to pull out the big guns, I've got a steam cleaner that I use on the floor. Otherwise, I try and use the cleanest possible cleaning products, whether it's shampoos and soaps or a floor cleaner or dishwasher detergent. Try and find something that doesn't contain fragrances and colorings and chemicals. Try and keep it as clean as possible. Make sure you're drinking plenty of clean water. If you are drinking a water which has had all of the impurities removed, you might need to either add a bit of Celtic salt or Himalayan salt back in, or you can buy things called hydrate drops, which is essentially evaporated seawater to put back into your water to remineralize it. Make sure you're eating fiber, okay? So we want to be having healthy bowel movements each day to move things out. And again, stay active with moderate exercise. For the emotional well-being programs, make sure you're taking 10 to 20 minutes daily for mindfulness practices, such as breath observation. If you're not used to this, you can find a lot of really wonderful videos on YouTube with breathing exercises or breathing meditations that you can follow along in real time. You might like to try something like gratitude journaling. Try and develop a really positive mindset, focus on one task at a time, reducing stress and enhancing mental clarity. So let's have a look at some of the comfort programs. So we've got abdominal discomfort, back discomfort, body discomfort, head discomfort, intense head discomfort. So if you're not sure, you know, which one should I be running, this is where you look at the descriptions here. So head discomfort assists in easing head tension and daily stress relief. Intense head discomfort, gentle support for intense sensations, aiding return to calmness. So a lot of these comfort programs I have used for dogs when they've had either a long-term issue like Bindy. She's been using the joint discomfort because she does have arthritis in her front shoulders. And I've been using lower back discomfort. Sorry, no, what's this one? The back discomfort I used for a little dog that had an acute situation. Okay, so they can be used for chronic or acute. And what I do with these is I let them run until the job is done. So if it's something acute, like I was letting it run all day on the wee dog, and she was with me for about 12 days, and we let it just run day after day after day, and she was really happy to just lie next to the AHA Halo and let it do its thing. For Bindy, with the joints, she goes into her crate at night, and I start the program and pop it on top of the crate, and she's really happy to lay there with that running. So if there's something which is causing discomfort, this is when you will seek out one of these programs. So it's not necessarily for a daily wellness, like for example the holistic body care programs. This is when you've got like an active pain or discomfort. Now this is Millie. So you can see she's lying right next to the AHA Halo in this picture, and this is my dog Ziggy. Now Millie came to stay with me for Easter, and she was going to be with me for 12 days. And 2 days before she arrived, the owner rang me and they were very distressed. Millie had started to cry when she was picked up, and they took her to the vet. And although she's only 6 years old, the vet said they couldn't understand how such a young dog had such a major issue, but they said, look, this is a degenerative spine issue. She is going to require surgery. When you come back from holiday, bring the dog back and we'll operate. So Millie came to stay. And the first thing we did is we looked at the food that the owner had bought for Millie, and I went, yeah, no, that's not good food. It was full of, basically processed wheat, processed soy, processed corn. There really wasn't a lot of meat in there for the dog, and I really didn't think much of the food. So I switched her onto a really nice brand that I use here with my dogs, and she was very appreciative of that. I then popped her down here. Now, this little mat that Ziggy's hogging at the time, that's a grounding mat. So I popped her onto an orthopedic mattress, tried to get her on the grounding mat as much as I could, and I popped on back discomfort. And for basically 12 days, Millie was under my desk while I was working, and her back discomfort really didn't seem to be a big deal at all. There was one squeak during the 12 days when she turned around a bit quickly at one point. But other than that, it seemed to me to be going very, very well, and she seemed a lot more relaxed and a lot better. So fast forward the 12 days, and the owner picks Millie up and it says, how's Millie been? And I said, look, I think she's good. So they took her back to the vet, and then they messaged me to say the vet can't explain what's happened, but Millie no longer needs surgery, and the issue just doesn't seem to be there anymore. It's completely gone. So that was an acute situation that came on very, very suddenly and unexpectedly. And 12 days of running the Halo during the daytime, she didn't have it at night, really took care of it. Now, when she was picked up, I did also go through the food side of things with the owner and said, look, you might just want to try some other different foods with Millie just to keep her in the best health she can possibly be in. Now, this is Bindy. So my neighbours found Bindy on New Year's Day this year. She was found wandering. She was completely emaciated. She had some terrible growths hanging off her, which we did have to remove surgically. And when we did that, we also found that there was a very, very large cancerous growth attached to her uterus. So the vets removed as much cancerous material as they could, but they said, look, we can't get it all. She still technically has cancer. We think she's only got months to live. So that was in January. And here we are at the end of July. And I'm really pleased to say that Bindy is doing fantastically. But she does still have the arthritis in the shoulders. It is a little bit of makes life not as comfortable as it could be. We are doing a lot of supplements with Bindy. We've been doing a mushroom powder, which includes turkey tail. And I don't know if anyone happened to catch John Campbell's recent video about Rimmer, the dog, who's been taking turkey tail. He had a very large tumor that was growing out his nose. And the owner decided not to operate, but to do some research, and started using turkey tail with Rimmer. And something like 4.5 years later, all you can see now on Rimmer is a slight sort of a discoloration scar sort of looking part of his nose. He's absolutely fine. That tumor has basically just retracted and it's gone. But anyway, with Bindy, what we do is we pop her down under my desk and we'll put the halo on, and she can have a program running in the day, and she's completely free to get up and wander around. She's not captive. So if she wants to go inside, go outside, go to another room, she absolutely can. But she's often very, very happy just to lay next to the AHA halo and the scalar field that it's generating and get the benefit of the program. So because of her situation where she's 12, it is something chronic, and so I use this program at nighttime for her when she's in the crate, and I expect to do that, you know, all the time that she's with me. And I have noticed that if I forget to charge my halo and she doesn't have the program for a night, she is stiffer in the morning. If she's had it on top of the crate, she's a lot more mobile when she gets up for her morning trot outside. Now, these are the sleep programs. So if you look in the software, all you're going to see is good sleep 1, 2, 3, and loud sleep, which is not a very clear explanation of what these programs are. So remember, you can go to the website, you can download these program guides for yourself if you forget which one's which. So good sleep 1 assists in calming the body and mind to support falling asleep more smoothly. Good sleep 2 helps you manage emotional fluctuations for steadier sleep patterns. Good sleep 3, that's the one I like, offers deeper support for persistent sleeplessness and mood-related sleep challenges. I do find that with a lot of dogs around, I'm often awake in the night. If somebody barks or coughs or, you know, anything like that happens, I'm there. I'm out of bed at 2 in the morning for whoever needs me. So I do like good sleep 3. Loud sleep supports clearer breathing pathways for quieter nighttime rest. Now, these are the beauty programs. So it's not so much, it's more a focus on rejuvenation and cellular renewal. So Young Body promotes youthful vitality from within. Acne supports skin's natural clarity by addressing environmental and internal factors. We've got collagen helping maintain skin's natural suppleness and daily renewal rhythm. Figure assists in maintaining a healthy metabolism and body balance through daily routines. Glowing helps skin retain a fresh, luminous appearance and soft texture over time. And then we've got thicker hair for women and thicker hair for men. So these are programs that you could, you know, you don't have to run them all day long, but they could be part of your morning routine. So for example, you know, while you're going out for your morning walk, you could put one of these programs onto your AHA Halo and pop it in your pocket and off you go for your walk. When you come back, it's entirely up to you if you want to keep that program running or change to something else. Now, I absolutely love the cleansing programs. I think these are absolutely brilliant. So we're constantly exposed to toxins. So this is something that I see a constant need for. So I really do like these. So let's say you've gone for a walk with one of your beauty programs on. When you come back home, you might decide, now I'd like to run a cleansing program. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely think they're all fantastic. The ones that I use most often are the full body cleansing, the heavy metal cleansing, and the lymphatic. But that's because I'm cheating with diet, because I have a absolutely marvelous tea which has got dandelion and all sorts of lovely things in it, which helps liver and kidneys. And I also take milk thistle quite regularly and things like that. But I would use these programs for one of the dogs if they were having trouble. So I think all of these are absolutely wonderful on a daily basis. And as it said, these are daily support. We're exposed to things daily. It certainly doesn't hurt to run them, you know. You might decide to only run them once, or you might decide to let them run a couple of times through. Now, the holistic body care. So the comfort program that I showed you before for joint, That's for like an acute or a chronic situation. But the holistic body care, this has got a program for joint, but this is more about the day-to-day keeping joints mobile and comfortable during daily movements. So this is more a maintenance thing rather than fixing a physical problem, if that explanation makes any sense. So all of these programs here are gentle support for the body's natural balance, adapting to daily internal and external influences. And of these, I actually do like Cell. This is one of the programs that I really like. Daily support for cellular renewal and natural repair mechanisms. Okay, who doesn't need that? I've recently been using the immune program with Bindy, so we'll come back to Bindy in a moment. She picked up kennel cough, unfortunately, and so we have been using the immune program, and I'm finding it very, very helpful for her in relieving her coughing. So a lot of these programs are wonderful. I also like the radiation program. So if I'm going out and about, I will often put radiation on the halo and then pop it into the crossbody bag or pop it in my pocket and take it with me. So I really like that as well. There's also a vitamin and mineral supporting daily nutrient absorption and utilization for balanced vitality. That's another one that I like very much as well. So I would encourage you to, try these programs, see what you think. So if you haven't got an acute situation that you need to manage presently, and you're just looking at the AHA Halo for daily wellness support, okay, to stop a problem from occurring, do try some of these programs and see what you think. Now, physical well-being. Due to the kennel cough, Bindy got a really upset tummy, and we used the running tummy program, and it was spectacular. It was absolutely spectacular. Like if you've got dogs like I do, a dog with diarrhea is not an easy thing to manage. They get so distressed. And in Bindy's case, she got diarrhea so badly, she was actually passing blood. And I was really, really concerned. And the usual things that I would try for a dog with diarrhea, things like chamomile tea or probiotics or, various other things that you would normally try for your little dogs, they weren't really working for her. Even just getting her onto chicken and rice wasn't really working. So we tried running tummy and we had spectacular results within 24 hours. And I will warn you, there's a very graphic photo coming up and you can look away. I'll give you plenty of warning before I show it. So the running tummy is an excellent program and I absolutely think that's brilliant. I have also used the good near vision and the good far vision for myself. And I think those two programs are very good as well. Now, running tummy over here, blocked tummy over here, but here is stomach wellness. So the stomach wellness supports gastric energy harmony, aiding digestion and balancing acidity for optimal stomach function. So once Bindy got through the running tummy, okay, once that was all taken care of, we actually switched to this program here just to keep everything going nicely. I have also used the tooth and gum wellness. Insect Bites is a new program to the library and I haven't used it yet, but I'm very excited to. I just haven't been bitten by anything recently, but I can tell you the moment that I am, I'll be going for that program. Now, the tooth and gum wellness. I recently decided that I would go and get my very last mercury filling removed. And I certainly wasn't going to have an injection. I wasn't going to have any anesthetic. They offered me gas and I declined that as well. I had been warned that it might hurt. They looked at the x-rays from when the filling was put in and went, no, this could be unpleasant. So what I did is I put the tooth and gum wellness onto the halo, popped it in my pocket, didn't say a word to the dentist. He had me in the chair for quite a period of time while he did his thing. And at the end, when it was all done and he sat me up again, he said, "Where did you go?" And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, you were just the perfect patient. It's like you weren't even here. You just went somewhere. And I just thought, I sure did. I had my little tooth and gum wellness on and I just let it do its thing. And I really was not uncomfortable during the procedure at all. I had a backup plan, which was to put on a playlist and put my headphones in and listen to that while he was doing his thing. But I didn't need to. The program on the Halo took care of everything. And when I came home and told my husband that the dentist said I was a perfect patient, my husband nearly fell over backwards and said, he goes, you're just not very good with pain. And I went, I'm not good with pain. I don't like to suffer. But I can genuinely say I did not suffer. Like, it was absolutely fine. And I thought that was a very excellent outcome. Now, we're going to get to the bit where I'm going to show you Bindy's picture in a moment. So here she is outside, and we used the running tummy, and it was terrible. So she had awful diarrhea, and after 24 hours of diarrhea, it became blood. It was really, really awful. She was extremely distressed. And of course, I was not pleased to see that there was blood being passed. That's never a great sign. So we put on the running tummy, okay, and that took care of things pretty much instantly. It really did. It was marvelous. And then after that incident, that's when we ran stomach wellness. Now I am going to show you, so this is the day after we were passing blood, okay? So it's not a picture of the blood. This is a picture of a perfect poop. But some people do not like to see poop. So if that's you, please look away from the screen now, and I'll tell you when you can look back so that you don't have to see it. But I just want to show you after 24 hours, okay, look away. Now, if that is not a perfect dog poop, I'd be very pleased to see one better than that. And I was absolutely thrilled with that running tummy program, that in such a short space of time, we went from a very distressed dog to a dog that was feeling so much better and passing healthy stools. Now I'm off that slide. You can now look back. Okay, we've gone on to the next slide. Now, the spiritual well-being, I have to admit, because I've been focusing on the dogs and chronic and acute problems so much, I've not had the chance to experiment with many of these myself, but there are some wonderful programs here. And if you go to the forum, you will find a lot of people who have been using them and posting feedback. Now, one that's really interesting down here is the water charger. And if you go back to Bradley Johnson's webinar, he has used the water charger and he thinks this is an excellent program. So what it does is it enhances water's natural vitality through subtle energetic alignment. Now, I have been imprinting water for quite a long time with my various Spooky 2 tools. I do it with the coil, I do it with the laser, I also do it with the scalar, Spooky 2 scalar devices. But it really couldn't be easier if you've got the AHA Halo to put this one program on and pop it next to your glass of water. And there's been some excellent feedback from people about using this program. Now, the other program, one that I have used, I've used the 7.83 Schumann resonance. I have used that one with the dogs as well, just to calm them down. Although I'm home 99.9% of the time, there are times when I do actually have to leave my dogs, and they don't like that very much. So if I do have to leave them and I'm not taking the Halo with me, I will often put on the 7.83 Schumann resonance to keep them nice and calm. But there are some wonderful programs here. And remember, if you forget what these description or what the program means when you're looking in the software, you go back to the website and you can download the program descriptions file. Okay, and that brings us to women's care and men's care. Now, there was a fantastic email came out. So if you sign up to get the AHA Halo updates, there was an email came out this morning where someone had asked a question: what's the difference between breast care and breast discomfort? And I have found that the team are incredibly responsive to questions. So not only did they answer the question on the forum very quickly for this person, it's now come out in the email so that we can all get the benefit. Just in case we missed it on the forum, it's been emailed out to everybody. So do sign up so that you get these notifications. So the women's care is gentle support for hormonal shifts and lifestyle demands, promoting holistic balance. So there are a lot of programs here which you may find helpful. Okay, breast care maintains the breast tissue energy flow during hormonal fluctuations, whereas breast discomfort eases the chest tightness and supports breast lymphatic coordination. Now, just a note to the women, if you are currently wearing a really tight bra, I would encourage everybody to lose the bra, really. Your breasts are supposed to wobble and jiggle a wee bit. It gets the lymph moving, and there was a study done. They went to, and I have to think where it was, whether it was Tonga or Samoa, but the women there were wearing beautiful loose-fitting dresses, no bras, and nobody had breast cancer. So they, for whatever reason, they decided they would go out and fit everybody with bras to support their breasts, because it was better. And what happened was that by binding the breasts and stopping the natural jiggle and the natural detoxification process that the body goes through, breast cancer, okay? A massive, massive increase in the number of cases of breast cancer. So if you, if you are currently wearing a bra and it's, tight, consider changing it to perhaps one that's a little bit looser if you still want to wear a bra, perhaps something more like a sports bra that doesn't bind everything so tightly. Or if you can get away with no bra, take it off altogether. So we've also got programs here: female reproduction, balances reproductive energy for natural fertility cycle adaptation, menstrual discomfort, menstrual clocks, postpartum relaxation. And for the men, we've got daily support for male physiological needs, promoting reproductive and metabolic vitality. So we've got male confidence, male reproduction, and there is a program here for prostate. Now, more programs are added to the library all the time. And so when you log on to the software, quite often you'll log on and it will say new program has been added, and it'll tell you what it is. If you want to know more about it, jump on the website, pull down the program descriptions, and have a look to see exactly what it is. And then here we've got the emotional well-being. So daily companionship for emotional balance, adapting to life's ups and downs. So again, these are not necessarily something that you need to run for an entire day. You might decide that, running it once or twice is enough. If you decide to run one of the relaxation 1 or relaxation 2, that might be something that you decide to run while you're doing some gentle stretching, or it might be something that you do while you're doing a mindfulness practice. Okay, and you might only run it for as long as you have in the evening. You might run it for half an hour while you're engaging in another activity. And here are the energy pathways. And again, these are all excellent programs. So gentle support for energy channel flow, helping to maintain systemic harmony and vitality. Okay, so if you've got some sort of acute or chronic problem, look at the comfort programs or look at the physical well-being. But if you're looking to just maintain something, open channels, you might decide to try one of the energy pathway programs. And these are all excellent as well. And you can put them onto your AHA Halo. It's completely portable. So as long as it's charged, pop it in your pocket, get outside on the grass in the sunshine. You can sunbathe with it with it just tucked under the chair so it's out of the sun. You don't want to get this wet. I wouldn't put it in baking sun so it overheats, but you can take this out and about, and as long as it's within 3 foot of you, you're getting the benefit. Okay, so you want to really have it with you, and then you're in the 1 meter halo of protection, the 1 meter sphere. Otherwise pop it in your pocket, take it out for a walk. And quite often I will take it out when I'm walking the dogs. I have also taken it out when I've been taking the dogs to dog park, and I have to say, one of the first and most surprising things I found about the halo is with the Dalmatian. The Dalmatian he's very emotional. He's a very excitable little boy, and I love him to bits. But if we're in the car, he will literally scream all the way to the park. And he's loud. He will bounce up and down on the back seat. He will poke his head in the front. He will just literally carry on like a pork chop. And it's quite terrible. It really is. And so one of the first things I noticed with the halo is that when I had this in my pocket and we were walking, or when I had it in the car and we were driving, he was calm. And I could actually talk to my husband on the phone without the dog barking and carrying on. He's just very, very excited to go anywhere, the Dalmatian. But yeah, there's a very calming effect about the AHA halo for dogs, I have found. Now, I want to take you through some of the features in the software. So one of the things that I like is that if you go up to the software and you go to File, Preferences, you can sort your programs alphabetically. And I think this is a great advantage. So let me just show you the software. And go to here. All right, so here we are in the software, and I've got my Halo connected at the moment. So you can see all the programs that I've got here. And you can see that some have got little solid stars and some haven't yet. But the solid star indicates this is one of my favorite programs. And by putting the star on it, when I choose to download it onto my Halo, what I'm doing is I'm telling the community that, yeah, I really like this. And they take the feedback from the number of stars they get from various users to go, right, this is a program somebody really wants, somebody's using and finding good. And it's feedback for them. Anyway, up the top here under File, Preferences, there it is, and it pops up. So you can sort your Halo programs alphabetically, and you can sort the library alphabetically. And I do find that that is a definite advantage when I'm trying to scroll through my 30 programs, because 30 is actually quite a lot to remember what you've got on the device. But if they're all alphabetical, it makes them a lot easier to find. Now you can also check for new firmware under the File menu. Okay, so that's up here as well. Check for new firmware if we want to. You can send feedback. Okay. Now you can also send feedback here. There's a suggestions box here. So if I click on the software here, and I have used this, I emailed a suggestion, and it was fairly late at night Sydney time, and I wasn't expecting a response straight away. But when I came back after dinner and checked my emails, there was an answer within a couple of hours. The team is right onto it. So I put in a suggestion here on the form, sent it off, done. Email came back straight away. There's also a little email tab here in the software. So this gives you all the contact details. So if you have a problem or you have a question, you've got support@ahaharmony.com. You can call them. This is the service hours. Now, there's also software updates here on the software. So mine's already up to date, so I don't need to worry about that. But one thing I do like here is the forum. Now, I'm not going to click on that button on the live website just to protect privacy for people. I've got a tab that's open already. So let me just show you that. Now, here we go. All right. So I didn't want to show people's names because I've not asked permission of every user on the forum to show their little icon. But this shows you what the forum is like. So if you click on the software and then go to the forum tab, you will find that there are latest posts, and there's a category here called hot topics. Okay, so these are the topics that have had a lot of replies or a lot of comments, and I find that they're really, really helpful suggestions and things there. So when you first go to the forum, you can put something into the search bar here. So you could type in, something that you want to know if a question's already been asked, and then have a look and see if you can find some posts about that. Or you can just scroll through it, and you can go to the various threads, and you can read up and see what's going on. Now, here are some that I selected recently from Hot Topics, okay? So I clicked on Hot, and this is what it brought up. And so what you can then do is you can click on each of these, and you can see the question that was asked, who has replied, and what the answer was. So I just want to show you a couple. So there was when the Halo was quite new, there were some programs that got taken down. And people wanted to know, why were the programs removed? And here I've decided to leave this visible. This was an answer, and it's come up from John White. And everybody can read his answer. And the thing is, they respond really, really quickly. So if you have a question, you can ask, and you will get a very official answer very, very quickly. So they are really dedicated to ensuring the effectiveness of programs in the database. And so the programs are tested, okay, to make sure that they really are effective. And if a program is underperforming, it's removed to maintain high quality and usefulness of the offerings. So this is where it comes in, which programs you've favorited. That's where you put the wee star. If you click the star, you're telling them this is a favorite program. Okay, so if you want to make sure that they know you've got preferences, click those stars. Okay, so programs frequently marked as favorites by clicking the star icon in the database or regularly utilized are unlikely to be removed. Okay. Now, if a program is removed from the library, but you've already downloaded it on your device, it will still remain available on your device. No programs get removed from the Halo device unless you choose to go in and manually remove them. Okay, this was a question about how to best utilize the Halo for optimal wellness. So for example, what if you're just starting out, what might be the best programs to run first? And I've blanked this out for privacy, but this was an absolutely excellent answer that was posted by somebody in the forum. Okay, and they were suggesting, based on the principles of detoxification and energy system optimization, you might start with some of the cleansing programs and then move on to energy pathways. And they give their reasons for it. So I just want to really emphasize how useful the forum is for information. Okay, impact of Halo's battery on our energy field. So someone was saying, look, is there an issue carrying a device with a battery around, popping it in your pocket and holding it close to your body? And again, we've got an answer here from signed in by John White, and they go through all the technical details. And long story short, there's no adverse exposure issues that they've found. Okay, standing next to Halo is demonstrably safer than standing near many commonplace household items, including a simple fridge magnet. So it's pretty safe. Now, there's something else I do want to show you. I want to show you the Spooky 2 blog. So let me just navigate to that page. And we'll share that. There we go now. This one. Okay. So here on the blog, so this is under resources blog, okay? And there are some fabulous posts here, okay? And I do encourage you to read them. You can see from the dates that they post something every couple of days. Now, if you want to search for something, you can put a keyword in here and see if there's a blog already created about the topic of interest. But one that I found really interesting, if we scroll down, was this one, how to relieve neck, neck and shoulder pain, a remedy kit. Now I'm going to click on the continue reading just to bring up this page in its entirety. So this tells you which program from the database you might try. So it sort of goes through the red flags. This is sort of what's behind it. And then it gives you some ideas of things that you can try. Okay. Then it comes down to the part where we're going to use the halo, shoulder and neck discomfort program. And it then gives you some ideas like continuously run the program during long video conferences. Use it after a yoga or stretching session to deepen and prolong effects. And then we've got some boosters, okay? So if the root cause of your neck and shoulder tension is high emotional stress, they suggest you try relaxation 1. If it's something to do with back pain, try lower back discomfort. If it's something to do with a history of fitness strain, try muscle and tendon. Okay, pro tips, run the program continuously for up to 45 minutes per session and pair it with a warm neck pillow for enhanced effect. So the blog is absolutely fantastic, okay? And if you don't find something that you're looking for on the blog, try the forum. Has somebody else asked a question on the forum? If they haven't, you can be the first one to ask. So I just want to make sure you know that there are all these places you can go to get help or find support for your AHA halo.